All right, guys, I am super, super excited. So if this is your first time hopping on a Zoom meeting, welcome. We do these every week. So every week on Mondays, we will be doing a Zoom. Normally, our regular team Zoom is at 8:30, but when I have on a special guest, we do it for the full hour from 8 to 9, just because there's a lot of info that we go over. Um, Lots of questions and just lots of stuff that you guys can learn. So I'm really excited because we have Saray on tonight, and I met Saray in person for the first time at conference this year. And she went double diamond at conference while we were down in Tampa. And then last month, it was last month, right? She went triple. And she pulled in over 6,000 GV in the last 7 days of the month, or like something crazy like that. So I'm really, really excited to hear from her tonight. This is the first time that I've ever had her on a Zoom, so I'm excited about that. So I am recording, and I'm just gonna let her jump right in and introduce herself and kind of like tell her story, why she got started in the business. And yeah, so I'm excited. I think you
Hello,
can just unmute
everyone.
yourself.
Okay, yeah, I just unmuted. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Saray. I am Triple Diamond. We promoted last month. I started this business 3 years ago now, June. So it's my 3-year anniversary. I started as a part-time income stay-at-home mom to my daughter and just looking for extra income from home, pay off medical debt that we had. And other than that, just looking for something else to do. At the time when I started this business, I didn't really realize its full potential, just kind of, again, was doing it on the side. I was working other things at the same time too. So I was like cleaning offices. I was always in the medical field, even when I started this business. So I was doing like medical coding and billing from home as well. Eventually, this business just replaced all of that income because, of course, cleaning businesses is a struggle with when you have a child at home. So it was like in the evenings. And then on top of that, well, the medical coding and billing was also kind of more of a self-employment job. So I was kind of charging my own fee, and it just wasn't really working out because I had to do a lot of professional calls. And the kid, like my daughter, was screaming in the background, so it was just like very unprofessional. So I just decided to stop doing that and then just continue with this business. And then I pretty much ranked up pretty fast. I promoted executive and ruby within my first year. I even promoted emeralds, but I did lose it my first year in the business. My chart was not strong enough. I always say that I just wasn't prepared for that rank. When I promoted emerald, it was very just like pushed towards it. So then after promoting emerald and my chart completely fell apart, it was a start of renovation. Like I had to start all over again. And then in 6 months, I was able to promote emerald again. And by that time, my team was completely different than what it was months prior. I had done a lot of building, and that's when I like reinvented myself as a leader. It was like a cloud that had been lifted, and that's kind of like my start date with the business, because at that time a lot of my circumstances had changed. I had already been in the business for more than over a year, so at that time I had also had my son, so I needed a full-time income, and I needed this to work more than what it needed it to work when I first started. So my why changed, my motivation changed, my mindset completely changed, and I just realized that I was capable of doing a lot more than what I was telling myself that I could do. I wasn't a massive enroller when I first started. I was like looking back, and could possibly enroll like maybe 4 to 5 customers a month max. And even with that, like distributors, I was a very slow enroller. But one thing that I was set on was that I always maintained my rank except for that emerald promotion. So beyond that, then when I went to conference in January of 2019, that I was emerald, that following month I was able to promote diamond. And then I sat at diamond for almost a year, and that was pretty much more so because I didn't know that you wanted to continue to keep pushing and moving forward and growing. I was very, very happy with my diamond paycheck. I had earned a bonus. And that's just where I kind of stopped. I helped my team. My team was still growing. We still had a lot of momentum. but I just stayed at that diamond rank. And then it wasn't until this year I set myself up for double, and we promoted as a team in January to double. And then a couple months later, we then pushed for triple. But this year has been very, very different from my prior years in the business. Also because this year I have focused a lot more on my leadership aspect and just setting myself up for goals every single month, whether they're big or small, which is something I'll touch base on a little bit later. But it's definitely something that you need in your business in order to continue to grow and just continue to just keep up with that momentum. But that's pretty much my story. Triple diamond leader now, still a stay-at-home mom, and just tackling medical debt, which is probably like the worst thing in the state that I live in, and just for our family is our number one thing, just terrible health insurance. And that's pretty much my story, just focusing now on pushing forward with my goals with my team.
I love that. I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. I know you worked like super, super hard. Like I remember when we were at conference and you were like, no, like I'm just kind of laying low right now because I'm like pushing it, getting this promotion in before the month is over. And then whenever I saw you went triple last month, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know she was pushing for triple this month. And then it was like, boom, hello. So I'm so excited for you. So this is kind of going to, I think, gonna like kind of go into like setting those goals. And like you and I have talked about this before, but people always use the term like you have to cast a vision for your business, cast a vision for your team. Like, what does that mean to you, and how do you cast that vision for your leaders, for your newbies? Like, what does that look like for you?
So casting vision can be a little bit difficult, especially if you start the business and you haven't really seen the growth individually, like in your own business. It's hard to have a vision on something that you haven't personally experienced. And something that has really helped me cast my vision, again, is like those goals that I've set month to month, and just being able to see that I can accomplish something every single month. And I'm not talking about like, we all want to promote. We all want to be able to reach a rank that we want to reach. And that's a goal, and that's great. And that's awesome. But there's a lot of goals in between that people just forget to mention, or forget to just write down and consider that even an accomplishment. So when casting vision, like for myself, I like focus on those small things. And honestly, the biggest thing is focusing on my strengths. So we all run our businesses very differently. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. And when you focus on your own strengths and that time and energy, and just looking for those things that you think you're great at, and trying to just fine tune those things and trying to grow in those areas, that's where that vision comes from. Because then you start kind of like thinking, okay, well, I'm really good at leadership, which is something that I've always been good at. Like even prior to the business, I was an office manager. So I knew how to lead. That was just my strength. But I'm also a yellow personality. So I can be very like just sympathetic with people and just thinking about their feelings. I can lead, but I can lead them by bringing their attributes out as well. So those were things that I knew I was good at. And then I also focused on the things that I wasn't good at. And those things that I wasn't good at, I just sucked up my pride and was just like, you know what, I need to ask all these other leaders that are doing things that I'm not good at, and ask them how they are able to do those same things, and then implement them myself. So when I mentioned about when I promoted, when I was focusing on my leadership skills and all of that growth, pushing towards Emerald, I also did the same thing when I was pushing for double. And I interviewed a bunch of other leaders, just asking them like what their tactics were and everything. And then that's the way I like implemented it to my leaders, and I helped them cast a vision, because I wasn't good at that. So I told them like, okay, let's all push together. Let's all work together. Let's set our goals together. Let's crush them together. Let's push as far as we can towards a certain promotion, bring in all of this volume, bring in a ton of new people, and just grow together. And then that's what helped us be able to promote into the next ranks together, because we were all in this renovation or this 90-day push. It was really like almost like a 6-month push, but it was like definitely we were all in it together. So a big thing is that we had a chat for our leaders, and that started out with just, even with my girls who were not promoted, because obviously we all start from one level, and there's a lot of girls that are charted for a promotion, but they're not in those promotion roles. But I still stuck them in a chat because they had girls below them, and I told them, okay, we're all like soon to be leaders, and we all have to be like in that leadership role. So let's work on it together. Let's learn charting. Let's learn volume. Let's learn high BV. Let's learn how to communicate with our leaders or in our downline. Let's work on giving them goals and setting them up for success. And that is what helped them cast their vision, because then they started fine-tuning their leadership skills when that wasn't honestly a strength of theirs. And to some it was their strength, but to others it was their weaknesses. So us all working together really helped. And if you're not working together with your leaders and your downline, and I'm talking about anybody, like even if they're a 400 box, like that's a soon to be leader. So you have to be pouring into them and helping them believe in themselves and that they're capable of having girls on their team, whether they enrolled them or not. And that's what helps them cast their vision, and just telling them, okay, like Mark did this at conference where he's like, close your eyes and just think about where you want to be, like how your team is and everything. And that's what really helped me personally to just kind of like see myself in those ranking positions and see that I'm no different than anybody else. Like I can be a double diamond leader, but I just have to work towards it. And I could be a triple diamond leader, but I just have to work towards it. So that's pretty much all I did with casting vision for myself, and also duplicating that with my team and helping them see the vision and see that they were just kind of limiting themselves to maybe just being okay. I didn't want them to do what I did when I stayed at Diamond for over a year. Like, because I thought that's what you were supposed to do, maintaining. And maintaining is not growing. It's just like you're just stuck. And if you don't have goals every single month pushing yourself forward, then you're going to stay stuck at that same rank, and then everything is going to kind of die down. And so then you're going to have to like compensate for that time that you lost. So I talk about my experience. I talk about those things. I'm very open about it. Even when my chart fell apart, I like also tell that to my team as well, so that they know that it's normal. It's just a matter of like, okay, you just pick up the pieces and you keep going. And there's so much more on that other side. Once you've crossed that, like that finish line of your goal, there's another side to it.
I love that so much. I think that's like one of the things that I've always really admired about you, is that you know exactly, like from the beginning of when we started like having conversations and we would like go back and forth and be bouncing stuff off of each other, like you always knew like, okay, these are my strengths, so this is what I focus on, and then the stuff that I'm not like amazing at, I have other people on my team who are like step up in those roles. And I think that's so huge to see that in yourself and like be confident enough to be like, okay, this is what I'm really good at, and like, you know, so-and-so is really good at this. So like, I'm going to let them do this and I'm going to do what I'm really good at. And I think that's like just such an admirable quality to have. This isn't on my list, but I'm on my list of questions I sent you, but I want to ask you just like after you've been talking about goals. So when you like start off your month, right? So it's like the first of the month. Okay. So this month, for instance, like you went triple last month, you started off this month. What does your like goal planning look like at the beginning of the month? Like, how do you set your goals? How do you decide what you're focusing on? And then like when you're setting goals, how are you, because obviously they involve your team, how are you then going to your leaders and telling them, because basically you're, you know, telling them like, hey, these are what your goals are this month, you know? So like, what does that look like, that process at the beginning of the month look like for you?
So I do my charting pretty early on. And that's what I tell my leaders to do from the start. Like if you don't have your chart done, you don't have your roadmap. So you don't even know who is close to their promotion, who you need to be helping, where you need to be focusing on. You're enrolling customers and you're just like, okay, where do I place them kind of thing. You don't know who needs to be encouraged. So doing your chart involves so much more than just figuring out how much volume you need. But for me personally, it also helps me with like my customer follow-ups and just like communication with them and everything. So a couple of things that I look at when I'm assessing my goals for the month is what I finished off the month prior, what I accomplished the month prior, And then from there, I transition into just whatever is my next set. So like, for example, in January, when I promoted double, I knew I was going double. I knew who the leaders were when I was promoting double. And then in February, my goal was to push towards maintenance volume. And then that's kind of just like making sure I was enrolling, making sure I was teaching any newbies how to bring in their own customers. And it was just more directing my growth to my team and helping them. And then the following month, I was set on helping multiple people promote. So like every single month we have, that's across the board. We need at least one promotion, a new promotion for the team. And that was just something that we changed for this year. So executives and above, like we focus on doing that for growth on our team. Now, as far as the following months, I focused on a person. I'm like, okay, these two people are promoting, and their teams are also promoting. And then when I pushed for triple, then it was just my third leg coming from nowhere. Basically that we had to grow and bring in these new distributors and help them train in 30 days. So that was a little bit crazy. So this year is a lot more focusing on that third leg, because they grew so fast. A lot of them are still kind of like, okay, what just happened? So now it's like kind of starting backwards in a way, just duplicating and teaching them like what we just did and how they can continue to do that as well, and how they are capable of doing that and continuing to grow. But I focus on like my enrollments from the prior month and trying to either keep the same enrollments as last month personally enrolled, or increasing that number. I look at the girls who have just have a lot of heart on the team, that have been pushing, have been showing up every single day, have been working towards their promotion and haven't been able to promote for a little bit. I focus a lot on them and their teams as well. So it's not just about my promotions, it's also about theirs too. So I'm getting on one-on-one calls with their down girls. I'm in like their layered leadership chats as well. And I'm like, without even my leaders knowing, I actually had a message that I was going to send them like later on tonight, but I have like a list of people that I see potential in them. And then I'm like looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out a game plan for them and trying to figure out how they can be in this leadership role. And I'm looking down in my downline to see who I can help grow, whether it's by my experience or whether it's by, my daughter just came into the room, whether it's by my experience or whether it's by just getting on a three-way call or giving them information or giving them, here. Okay. Yeah. Giving them whatever they need in order to help them grow, because the fire is going to start all the way from the bottom and it's going to go all the way up. And even if it doesn't necessarily help me in my promotion, it's helping them in their team. So that's something that I definitely love to focus on, is growth overall. Like it doesn't have to be on my chart. I want people to grow. Like I want them to help them be successful, because who's to say like later down the road, I do need them on my chart. This is what they're setting themselves up for now is going to help them as well and grow their paycheck too. So just my goal is just like assessing those things and looking who needs help. How I can just give them more of my experience and be able to relate to them and help them more. Than what maybe their enroller can do at the time, because there's so many different colors, personalities as well. Sorry, she wanted a kiss. I love you too, baby. I can kind of mold to every single color. So that's just kind of like what I kind of bring across. So I just help them like, okay, you need to be a little bit more patient with this person, or you need to be a little bit more firmer with this person. So that way we can just all push forward.
That's so good. And I love that you said that, because it is just about growth. I mean, if someone's in your downline, they're on your team. Whether they're on your chart for your promotion right now or not, they're part of your team. So helping your team be successful, like you're going to be rewarded regardless, you know? I have a question. It's also not on this list, but well, it kind of is a little bit, because we talk about like host to post. So I know like you like host a post, like you're like about that. So like, what do you normally bring in for enrollments a month for like distributors and customers? Like what's your average?
So I am a mass enroller of customers versus distributors, and I'm honest about it. Like distributors is like one of my weaknesses. I mean, I can bring in distributors, but I'm not bringing in 10 to 12. Like I am bringing in maybe 3 to 4, but they stick around. So that's like the biggest difference. I'm not like for me, being a mass distributor enroller is not like something that I want to strive for. Like I love bringing in new distributors every single month, but I would rather bring in 3 to 4 that are definitely working versus 12 and only like a couple stay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to like really focus on that. But when I am doing distributor post to post, I do that on the first month, the first part of the month. I'll try to do it like from the 1st to the 10th or the 1st to the 15th of the month. Just do more Instagram post to stories, and then they put them up, and then they either fill out the link in my bio, or they ask me personally, or they send me a message if I put my phone number on it. Really just depends on what kind of picture I'm using. But for customers, which is my jam. So like last month I did like over 50 customers. I lost count after, and that was a lot of it was towards the end. And because I introduced Facebook, I hadn't worked Facebook for business purposes until last month. And for those of you who don't know that part of the story, it's just more so because I was scared of what my friends and family were going to say. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm working towards a promotion. I'm just going to go for it. And my friends and family were actually very, very supportive and helped me out towards that end of month push too.
I
So that
never
was
knew
really
that you
exciting.
didn't work Facebook.
Yeah, I did not work Facebook at all. So last month I did host to post. My friends and family were sharing every single content that I had. My videos were like high viewed and everything. So it was really exciting. But this month, I'm not really working Facebook as much as I did the month before, because it's really hard to incorporate another platform and getting in the rhythm of things. But I have stuck to just Instagram again. So I'm just posting on stories. I post my weight loss before and after pictures, or I just post like a general picture of myself. And then I'll say like who's interested in losing weight with the same bundle that I personally use. So that does help me a lot to get people who are interested in the products, because I personally use them. And I've lost 62 pounds with their products. I started as a size 14. I'm a size 6. So I'm a walking billboard of the potential that our products have.
You guys need to be a product of the product.
Yeah, like that's what
She
literally is
enrolled 50
working.
customers because she has her personal results, and they
And
were probably all high BV orders.
Yeah, because I'm not intimidated by high BBs. I just put a bundle together and I just share it with everybody. I tell them that's what they're going to get their results. And I can confidently say that, not just because of my testimonies, but I have a lot of the girls on my team who are a product of the product as well, who have lost a ton of weight. So we have their testimonies to be able to use. And my new distributors, some of them who have enrolled on our team as distributors, not only have followed me, but have followed other girls on my team. So when they join my team, they're like, I know that so-and-so is on your team, and I know the products work because I've seen your transformation and I've seen her transformation. So I share both of your testimonies with my potentials, and that helps them get their customers too, because we have our own before and afters within our team. So if as a team and as a unit, if you're trying to grow and you want to help your newbies out as a leader, you need to have some type of before and after picture so that you can share with your downline, so that now your downline can share it with their potentials and say like, oh, well, like my friend, because they are your friend, they're enrolled on your team, my friend had results with this product, look at her results. So that also helps your downline grow and be able to have those testimonies. To be confident in telling, because and then any questions they have, they're going to ask you, okay, so like, how'd you mix it? How'd you use it? What diet did you have? Did you work out? Anything like that. And that'll help them with bringing in customers themselves. But my host or post, like I just do normally on on Instagram and just stories. And then I just get people sending me messages. And then even when they're putting up a post for me, every time they post it, I ask them if they would be interested in more information on what they just posted, or if they know of someone personally. And when they know someone personally, they just send me the person's link, or like their profile link. And I've had even some of them say like, don't tell them I sent you them. Like I sent them your name, because I don't want them thinking that like I'm calling them out, but just message them and say if they would like more information. But that's pretty much what I do just with host to post.
So now so you're messaging for host to post? Are you posting about your giveaway also? Or is it mostly sending out messages about your host to post?
Just messages for host to post. So all of my messages up until this point have always been a cold message of host to post. So I just tell them like, hey girl, I'm having a giveaway. Would you like more information on how to participate? And if I don't have a giveaway, I just tell them, hey girl, I'm just looking to expand my business. Would you be okay with putting up a post and tagging me? And most of the time I actually have more success with people posting for me when there's not a giveaway than when there is. I guess because people think that like cash giveaways, it might be a scam, but I usually just kind of follow it up. Like if they haven't responded to my giveaway message, I'll like follow up by interacting on their story, or liking or sending some type of emoji so they know that it's legit, like that I'm not just sending a mass message telling them like, would you like to know how to win $400 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that it's actually something that is real.
So do you message for customers or distributors at all anymore? Or is it you only just message for host to post?
I only just message for host to post.
How many
The
do you
only
get
time
per
I've
day?
ever messaged for distributors is when we had the enrollments or the half off or the $24, $48, $72 deal earlier in the month, that I personally voice messaged a couple of girls that I had on my list that had been on the fence. And I told them, like, I sent them a voice message for it, but at that point it's not really a cold message because it's a follow-up. But I don't, unless it's someone that I see their profile is like absolutely amazing and I really want them to know more about the business, then I will cold message them about it. But it's because I'm looking and they're check marking everything that I'm looking for in a distributor.
How many host to post do you get up a day?
I try to shoot for 20.
And they're all on Instagram stories.
All on Instagram stories.
Do you link your bio or do you have them text you?
It's either link in bio or they send me a message. I did have phone numbers for a short period of time, but then I would just get a lot of like guys who would message me. So I just eliminated my phone number.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah. I'm like, no, thank you.
What else do I want to ask you about host to post? So you have about 20 a day. So do you feel like you get like at least one enrollment a day from putting up 20 host to post a day?
So I do get, it really all depends. Sometimes I will get like 1 to 2 customers. But for the most part, I get a lot of potentials and then I seal the deal on Fridays. So on my Fridays, I can average anywhere from like maybe 5 to 12 customers a day. So like I do set it up for that Friday. Like that last day of the month for when I promoted triple, I don't have my calendar here, but I know I had over 22 potentials for that day. And out of those 22, I enrolled almost like 15 of them. And that was just like follow up. But I had massively done host to post that week because obviously we were pushing for a huge promotion and needed tons of volume. So I was getting up host to post like crazy everywhere. And so that's why I had so many potentials for that Friday. But usually I only have maybe from 2 minimum to like at least 20, like shooting for around that. For potentials, it just really depends on how many I get up during the week.
Okay, because I know I've heard you talk before about like you like gauge if you've had a successful day based on like the conversations that you've had and stuff like that. So how do you keep track of your potentials? Do you write them in a calendar?
I write them at the end of the night. I write them all on a list. So like,
are you a pen and paper kind of girl?
Yeah. So I need everything in a notebook. So I will write them down like all in a list. Okay. And then I'll go through and I'll color coordinate. Like all of the pink ones are the ones that, all the pink ones are the ones that I personally enrolled, like that went through. And then the rest are just like check marks. Just like I write everything down. And then if they specifically tell me a day, then I will transfer it to my calendar so that I follow up those Fridays. But other than that, I'll just go through this entire list every single Friday. And then just keep following up with them, trying to figure out like if they're ready to place an order today or if they're ready or if they want to push it out for another week. But yeah, I just write everything down.
And you do a lot of voice messaging, right?
Yes. 99% of all of my messages are voice messages.
Do you feel like that gets you better results and like that's why you're able to seal the deal with such high BB customers?
Yeah, because I talk just like normal. So I tell them, Okay, vete, díselo a papi. Sorry. Yes, I 1000% believe voice messages is the way to go. You just sound more confident. You know, like they know what you're talking about when you're explaining the loyal customer program. It's like nothing. It can't even fade. Like I'm talking about it in my voice message and it's the same script over and over, but I can explain everything in 1 minute voice message and I get them to sign up right away. So it's not like a long script. And even in my 1 minute voice message, I'm telling them that it's like the loyal customer program, that it's a 3-month program. They can alternate products. If they don't do the 3 months, there's a membership fee. And I'm there every step of the way. And literally, everything is less confusing. If they have any questions, they'll answer, and then I'll answer again in a voice message. And since I'm so like, it's all good, like everything is normal, you're gonna love it, these are the products, this is the bundle, this is the price, and I'm confident about it when I'm talking to them, they don't hesitate. Like they're like, okay, yeah, that sounds really good. That's exactly what I need. And even when I'm explaining the products, I know for a newbie that might be a little bit crazy. Like, okay, how do I do that if I don't know the products? The best thing to do is to write down what the products do on like a piece of paper, or if you have a tablet, bring up the product and just like type out a script that you would normally say, and then you're voice messaging it, but you're reading it straight from your tablet, and you're saying, okay, so the keto coffee helps you burn fat, the Thermofy X is going to help you burn double the amount of calories, and you're literally reading it, but they don't know that. So you're like saying it in a casual voice, they're hearing your voice, they know it's real, and you're like just like going off by its script, but it's just more personal. So I'm always like asking
Probably
them.
less time consuming as well.
Yes, it's a lot less time consuming. And a lot of the times my kids are screaming. So I like to mention that if you're a mom, voice messages is the way to go because your time is so valuable. Like moms, we have like crazy lives and schedules and kids screaming, and I'm potty training my kids. My son is 22 months old and he's already potty training, but like when he needs to potty train, like he needs to pee, I'm like dropping everything and I'm like running. I'm literally voice messaging people. Like I'll be in the middle of a voice message and then my son is like he's crying that he wants to go pee. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. My son needs to use the bathroom. And I like send that voice message. I go take him to the bathroom and I come back and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just so crazy. Like, but what I was saying is this, and that. It's okay to just have a crazy life
It
and
just
you're
makes
telling
you
your customers
relatable.
about it. That way?
Makes you relatable. Like you're a person.
Yeah. So that's just what I do. I just use a lot of voice messages.
All right, we're going to move on from host to post. If any of you guys have any questions for her, just put them in the comments. All right, so what's on like your 6 list? Like every day, like what do you got to get done?
So on my 6 list every single day, I have to talk to someone on my team. So I do a lot of team growth. So whether it's a newbie or a leader, I'm going back and forth talking to them. I have now recently also shifted my focus, and I do talk to a lot of my leaders. I have a leaders chat for them, but I have made it a point to help others that are not my leaders, because my leaders, some of them have ranks and they've already promoted, and that's great, but their newbies need to also feel that type of momentum. So I'm working with their down lines and like helping them. I'm like having conversations with them, building relationships with them, and that's just something that I honestly love. I love to see that kind of growth. I love to get to know my team. I love to help them individually, but every single day. So I'm doing that. I'm doing self-development.
Can I pause you and ask a question before you move on from that? So when you say you're working with like your down line, you're talking like distributors that you haven't personally enrolled.
Yep.
How are you messaging them with the leader who enrolled them? Or are you just reaching out to them one-on-one and being like, hey, I'm Saray, like I'm another point of contact for you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I message them without their enroller. So I see a newbie come into our chat, I will message them and I'll tell them, hey girl, so like my name is Saray. I've been in it for 3 years. Just want to let you know if you have any questions, I'm here for you too. And then I get to know them. So I will send them a message during the week and just kind of figure out like what their why is, why they started, and just like figure out how I can help them. And then I will send them like a couple slides they can post on their stories. And this is without their leader or their enroller in the chat. for me, growth is growth. So my leaders appreciate that I take the time to be able to talk to any of their newbies. I'm not with them every single day. So that's why like I transition, like I'll have like a day, I'll look at my tree viewer and see who's been enrolling and who hasn't been enrolling. And I'll look at my chart. And then if I see that someone who was like a mass enroller has kind of started to slow down a little bit, then I'm there to kind of encourage them, to tell them like, no, you can keep going, like this is great, what's going on, like let's help transition. Maybe it's because you did your friends and family list and now you need to go to social media. So like I help them with their transitions or things that maybe they need more help with. Okay, dile a papi que te dé más soda, okay? Vete, dile a papi. Sorry, somebody's calling me on WhatsApp. So that's what I do. I just help them. I just do more of a transition with them to try. Okay, no, go downstairs and ask him. She's like asking for soda. Crazy kids. But so yeah, so that's what I do. I just reach out to them.
Okay. Okay, you can keep going on your
okay.
list.
So I do host a post every day. I post on my stories every single day. I do interaction every single day with people on my friends list. Or
what does your interaction look like?
I'm liking, if it's a new person that recently added me, I'm liking 6 to 9 of their photos and commenting on one. And then I'm going through my stories and liking or emojiing or anything like that on at least 25 of them. And I do that about 3 times a day. So I'll do them in sets. And then I will also go to my least interacted with on Instagram. So on your following and then least interacting, I will usually message through there as well because they haven't seen my stuff in a while. So that's like a new batch of people, but I've been following them for a really long time. So it's not like cold messaging them. And then I just send them like either a message for host to post, or I'll like rebuild that relationship with them. So I'll like interact so they kind of start seeing me in their notifications and go to my profile to see like, oh, who's this girl? And then they'll look at my stories. And then I do, again, team building. Self-development is very simple. I'm not into like reading all these books or anything like that. I just kind of go through my list and I'll go on Pinterest. I'll go on Pinterest to kind of look at motivational quotes or anything like that. And then as far as adding new people, I only do that 1 to 3 times a week. So I'll take a day out of the week and then I'll massively add people. So like I'll add like minimum 75 and I'll do that through chunks of the day. But people are adding me anyways because of host to post during the week. So that's why I only take dedicated days to actually add new people. And then that way I can also unfollow people that haven't followed me back.
And is your page private or public?
It's private.
Okay. So if someone is messaging you from a host to post or whatever, like they're adding you as a friend, so
yes,
you're gaining new followers that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now how do you unfollow, or have you not gotten to the point where you like need to unfollow?
I haven't gotten to the point of unfollowing yet, but I had downloaded an app. And then what I did was I ran the analytics of it. And then I would go ahead and then close the app. And then I would screen record it. Yeah. And then I would go back later on another day to unfollow people. But I've just been going like one by one and messaging. I do have my friends list printed out because a long time ago, like you can still do this if you don't have a lot of followers. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have thousands of followers, it's easier. But when you have a lot of them, it can be a little tedious. So what I would do is like you go on your desktop and then you literally press on followers. And then you highlight and then you just let it keep going down and down and down. And then I copied and pasted it to a Word document, copy text only. So then that's what I'm saying. Like if you have thousands of followers, it's like not worth it. But I did this back in the beginning of my business and I still have a lot of the same followers. So I'm like recycling through and like finishing like loose ends that I left like back in the years that I started. And then I'm sparking that interest again too.
Gotcha. Is there anything else on your 6 list?
Nope, that's it.
All right, I'm going to jump right into the next question.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, Lordy Lord. Did you just get a
Sorry, I had to get my daughter downstairs.
No, you're fine. I get it. Dude, we have like 5, well, almost 5. 4 and like 1 in the oven, so, um, okay. So, all right, we gotta like breeze through these, so we're like running out of time. All right, so how are you launching your new distributors?
So for my new distributors, I do one-on-one Zooms at the beginning of their first to second day of enrollment. I do a Zoom with them, and then I kind of assess. I give them a brief summary of what is expected, what's going to come, and answer any questions that they normally have. Just assure them that they're going to be doing amazing, that they're on a really good team, that we have all the training, all the support, and everything. Which is usually kind of like the number one thing that kind of makes them uneasy when they're starting out the business. So we kind of just like nip that in the butt, and then so it's just like a lot of encouraging, empowering. And then after the Zoom, I make sure to teach them something new every single day. So that first week, I have like a 5-day training that I do with them. And I kind of go back and forth between what day we go over what. But we essentially kind of tackle something from the 6 list every single day. But I am getting them to start posting right away, to start messaging right away from their dirt list. And then I also create a host to post for them so that they can start doing that as well. So whenever they have a friend or a family member that says that they're not interested or they can't purchase right now or anything like that, I have them send out a host to post, like to give them a host to post so that they can post it up. So that way they're kind of tackling everything. And then from there, I continue to just like touch base with them. If they have an upline, I will put them in a layered leadership chat with them. But for the most part, the newbies that are recently enrolled within the past month or so have been on my new leg. So it's like I haven't really done a lot of layered leadership there yet because there isn't like a super, super strong leader to be able to kind of take them under their wing. So it's just been pretty much me and just like messaging them every single day. I send them like a 6 list, and just like what tasks they need to do every single day, or variations of it. And then I tell them they can kind of do it, and I follow up with them consistently. So I am pretty much doing one-on-ones with them at least once a week, and then doing trainings and Zooms like this to be able to help them. And now that we're starting, we are pretty much transitioning into Spanish fully. We have like our team trainings, and then with my new leg, I have extra trainings with them. So I have them on Sunday nights, but they also come on Monday nights with our team training. So new DT launching, it's not that complicated. Sometimes we overcomplicate it a lot. Another thing that I don't do is I don't think just because they didn't answer that they automatically are quitting on me or that they're not interested anymore. Whatever you think of is what you're going to get. So I'm just like, oh, they're super busy, I'm just going to send them another video. And I just send them another message, and I'll say like, hey girl, just thought of you and I thought this would be really good for you. And I send it to them. And then for them, 99% of the time they'll respond back and say like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was so busy. Okay, thank you so much. And then they'll go and post it. I'm not the type to be like, oh, I didn't see you post today, or I didn't see you do this today. I just always am asking, how can I help? What questions do you have today? How can we transition? Or like, how can we help you grow and move forward? And that was like something I wanted to just highlight, because like I have severe anxiety. So like we think of things that don't even happen, and we like think of scenarios of like the worst things that can happen. So when it comes to new distributors, we're always like, oh my gosh, you're going to quit. Oh my gosh, like this person isn't enrolling. Oh my gosh, like what is going on? Like we're thinking of a million different reasons that they're not working or they're not doing something, but we can't think of good things. So I'm always thinking about positive things with them. And just like, oh, like, I'm so happy they enrolled. Like, they're really going to do great. Like, this person is going to be an enroller. Like, look at how much growth they have. And I'm always also encouraging them and just thanking them for choosing me to be there, like signing up with me. And then just telling them like, I'm so happy that they trusted me with starting their business, and just reminding them those little things that they're doing really good, like with every single thing that they do. So that way they feel excited, and they're like, okay, I am doing this. Like I don't need to enroll 20 customers a day, because that's the kind of mindset they have sometimes when they come into the business. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to clarify. So you are like checking in with them daily, like you're talking to
Yes.
them every day, and then like once a week you're like getting on like a video call with them type of thing?
Yes.
Okay. And you are having them message and do host to post like right from the get-go?
Yes.
Like the first day? Like do you have them start
Yes.
messaging their first day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I lost my list of questions. Okay. You kind of like really went into like how you do layered leadership, so I'm not even gonna like ask that. Okay. So your best tip for someone who's just getting started.
So my best tip is when it comes to the business, like for the most part, you have to figure out why you need the business. And that sounds kind of silly because to many it's like, oh, well, I started because I want to make X amount of money or whatever. But it's not just about the money. Like I mean, for me, it wasn't just about the money. Like yes, that's great. I'm getting $300, $400. But for me, like I also wanted to understand how to establish my business. You're a business owner. So you, like with any other business, you would go and you would make business cards, you would learn everything about the products, you would learn how everything works, like how everything is set, processed, ingredients, anything like that. And you need to kind of put the same type of effort with this business. And with a new person, like don't overcomplicate it. Like you're given everything to be able to be successful. You're given everything to be able to launch your business, but the only person who can control everything that's coming in and how you can produce something that can help you with your business is yourself. So, if someone tells you to do something based off of experience, which is something that I do with my distributors, I tell them why. Like I tell them, okay, like I'm going to tell you why you should do this because I felt like I wasted months not doing this. And the moment I started doing this is the moment I started getting so many customers and distributors. So don't think of it as something that like we're telling you to do something to waste your time, but we're telling you honestly because we want to see you grow. We want to help you with your business. But don't limit yourself. Like, don't think that just because you haven't been in the business for years, that you're not going to have the same success. Like everybody's story is totally different. Some people launch super fast in their business. That was not my case. Some people launch super slow in their business, miss their shopping sprees, miss their ranks, have people flying by them in ranks, and you're still kind of stuck in the same rank. And that happens. It's happened to me. But at the end of the day, you know why you joined the business, and that has to be so strong that it doesn't matter what's going on around you, that you know that your end goal, you're still going to promote Diamond and you're still going to get that paycheck every single month. But what are you doing to get that goal? Like if you're not putting in the work and you're not showing up and you're not being consistent, like you're not going to get that paycheck. Like it's just not going to happen. So with a new person, just absorb as much information. Don't focus on what other people are saying. Just push yourself to grow and just push forward. Like you have literally been handed a business that you can make whatever desired income you want to help you and your family. And I would much rather focus that time and energy in this business, knowing I can stay at home with my kids than have to go and leave and work somewhere else. Some of us go to work to a business like a 9 to 5 and we don't see our first paycheck in like 2 weeks, right? Like you're working for 2 weeks and you're getting paid, but you don't see those results until later on. So with this business, what you're putting in now is what you're going to see that following month. So like, don't focus on the like, oh, well, like I see people making bonuses every week. Like, why am I not making a bonus? You're just starting out. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Like your chapter 1 could be like their chapter 12. So like just need to focus on you, your business, your goals, your end goal, where you want to be, your personal growth, how you can be better. And that's how you're going to grow when you're focusing on yourself. The time and energy you have like complaining or looking elsewhere is the time and energy you need to just focus on yourself and your growth.
You're so well spoken, Saray. I love listening to you talk. Okay.
Thank you.
And a last question, and how we're going to just end this off, is your best tip for someone who's been in the business for a while and is just not catching that momentum to climb the ranks or just like feeling stuck?
So that kind of goes a little bit with what I was just mentioning too. Momentum is something that you just are going to create. So it's not something that just magically happens. If you are not showing up, if you're not encouraging your team, it all starts with something simple, your efforts, sending a screenshot, sending like like a quote just to motivate your team. Taking the time to really get to know your leaders, taking time to know the people they're enrolling. If you have a layered leadership chat with them, then you're going to get to know them anyways. So when I get put into a layered leadership, I'm also, if I haven't reached out to them individually, I'm asking them, oh, like, well, tell me a little bit about yourself and why you joined. So I'm getting to know them individually. If you've been stuck and you haven't been able to push forward, speaking from experience, then it just means that you need to grow. And there is something that you are lacking in, and you need to just kind of accept it. You need to see what it is whether it's discipline, whether it's organization. And these are silly things to mention, but if you're not organized and you don't know where you're keeping your potentials, you're not enrolling because you're missing out on your potentials. If you're not disciplined enough to create potentials a day, then you're not enrolling because you're not disciplined to follow through with your 6 list. Or if you're doing just sending 20 messages a day, posting once on your story, and then at night you're not even having a single conversation at all, creating a potential, you're not enrolling. So that's also still very discouraging. So what is it that's like stopping you from enrolling? It could literally just be like some type of, like I mentioned, like a dark cloud. Like there was something that had stopped me from growing. That moment I lost Emerald, that I was back at Ruby, it was like the moment I had my son that I was like, oh my gosh, like there's so much I can do. And I've just been limiting myself. Like I just need to just stop worrying about all this other stuff. Like I am my own leader. I can take charge of my own team. I can grow with my team. That's all I need. I don't need anybody else except my downline. I didn't really have an upline. My upline had just recently quit. So I'm like, you know what? I don't need them. I can grow. Like, let me find how to be a leader, how to be coachable, how to be disciplined, how to be organized, and self-taught myself to be able to do all these things so that I can help my team in these aspects that I wasn't good at. Like if you ask me where my potentials are from 2017, or even the moment up until I promoted Emerald, I had nowhere documented where those potentials are. Nowhere. Like I had no organization. I had nothing written down. I had people like screenshot in my phone. I did no follow-ups that much with my new customers. I would get referrals and would sign them up. Like the way that my process was then was terrible. So I knew I needed to fix all those things. So if you've been stuck, there's something that needs to change. There's probably something you need to just be better in. And that's what you need to focus on. So if it's a weakness of yours, then you need to find someone that you can talk to, that it's their strength. And then you need to not only like interview them, but then you need to put into practice what they're saying, because then you're just going to be stuck in the same place, like not moving forward because you have all this information, but you're not like implementing it. And a quote that I had, like I had found this old post. I actually shared it with my team today. It was a post that G did back from like 2017. And a couple of questions that it had was like, where do leaders lead from? How do you want your team to be? Your mindset can make or kill your dreams. What are you doing to push yourself towards the direction you want to be? And just knowing that you're not an enroller overnight. So like when I started the business again, it was like 2 to 3 customers a month. Like I wasn't a mass enroller. And then now I am. And I've done that because of my growth, like changing my mindset, being more confident, not closing the deal on myself. Like if someone tells me they're not interested, I'm not afraid to ask them, oh, okay, I'm sorry, did you have a bad experience before? Like I'm not the type to be like, oh, okay, no worries, have a good day. Like I'm not closing that deal. Like I'm now finding out why you're not interested, just not in a rude way. I'm not gonna be like, so like, why not? I'm just simply saying like, okay, so like, did you have a bad experience before? And they're probably gonna say, oh, like I just don't need those type of products. Or like if it's sometimes a misconception, or they think that my messages before, like my cold messages, was business and products. So when they would read it, they would just say, oh, I don't have time to run the business. And prior to that, I would just be like, oh, okay, no worries, have a good day. But now it's like, oh, well, I was also offering the customer program, which doesn't require a lot of time. So I don't really take no for an answer. I just kind of find a different way to be able to kind of get the results that I want. So don't settle. Like just keep pushing forward and just reinventing yourself to be able to grow into that rank that you want.
I love it. Love it. So good. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your night tonight to get on here with us. We super appreciate it. Guys, I'm going to get this up on my YouTube. And I hope you guys all have an awesome night. Saray, I know you have to get on another Zoom, so I will let you go. And everyone have a good night.